A few years ago, around camera clubs, I had the need for large prints to demonstrate the quality of the image editing that I was demonstrating through Photoshop. I use Photoshop to create borders for these images, so the border could be printed with the image. Now, while I had a particular need for these prints and their digital frames, the techniques I used to do this generated enormous interest. So in this video, let's take a look at creating a matte border effect in Photoshop's layers. Now, this is so effective that when it's printed, I've seen people at my demos running their finger over the matte to feel the indentation, which of course isn't there because it's virtual, but it's very effective. Now, I'd like to use this image, which is a composite as you can see, but with the image size window open, you can also see that it's more or less 26 inches on the long side, let's say 15 inches in height at 300 pixels per inch. So it's going to provide us with a good quality print. I'm going to make a start by separating the image from the canvas it's sitting on, and we do that in the Layers palette just by clicking this little padlock on the right hand side. If I click and drag with my move tool, you can see that below we've got the canvas, which is shown by this blue and white checkerboard effect, and the image sits on top. What I'd like to do now is just expand the canvas alone to provide us the space for the border. To do that, I'm going to go to my image menu, top left, and choose canvas size. Now, what I want to do here is to get a nice balanced border. So I'm going to change the width to percentage, and it'll change the height too. Now, on the width, because of the shape of the image, I know that more or less 20% is going to be about right. But to give a balanced border top and bottom, I'm going to start with a height of 30%. Sometimes this works straight away, sometimes we have to crop just a little bit. But when I click OK, there we can see the border, and it looks pretty good. We've got a very similar size border all around. I think the edges may be slightly wider. Now, of course, we can always do a quick check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, virtually 7 squares. And over here, I've got a bit either side. So let's call that 1. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've probably got a bit too much on the left and right. But we can easily correct that by selecting our crop tool and just cropping in a couple of squares. Now I'm going to do this very quick and dirty. You can do this a little bit more scientifically if you want to, but speed is the importance here. There's also occasions when we may want a wider border at the bottom, and we can do that in the same way too. If we just select the crop tool, we can just drag down a little bit to get that bottom border just a little bit wider. These things are all personal preference. I'll hit the Enter key to commit that. I'll hit Ctrl 02 so we can see the entire image on screen. Now you'll notice that I didn't get it quite right, did I? I can see a smaller gap on the left border than the right. So with the Move tool selected, just click and drag, and the smart guides, those pink guides here, will allow us to put the image smack bang in the middle. Now I need to select that area around the outer edge. I'm going to go over to the toolbox for that because the magic wand is going to do that pretty easily. Pick it up, click, and you can see it selects it without difficulty. Down at the bottom of the layers, I'm going to create a new blank layer above my image. If you look at the color picker on the left hand side of the screen, you can see black is my foreground color. And what I want to do here is to flood that selection shape with black. Alt backspace will do that. This layer is going to provide us with the shadow effect. The selection remains in place, which is a good thing because I need to go back down to the bottom of the layers to create another new blank layer. And here, just for the moment, I'm going to flood my main border, the one we're going to see, with white. White is my background, so Control Backspace will do that. But now we do need to lose that selection. I think by now you know what the shortcut for that is, Control D. So we've got a simple layered stack here. But what we need to do to create the matte effect is to select the center layer. Then I need to blur it. So if we go to our filters, blur, Gaussian blur, now you can see straight away that with 50 pixels of radius, we get the drop shadow effect appear instantly. Now, of course, we've got variations here. If we want a really delicate effect, we can drop the radius. If we want a greater effect, we can push it up until we get the effect we're looking for. And of course, as you can see here, I've gone way too far. It looked to me as though around 50 pixels was about right. So let me settle on something like that and click OK. Now, if the content of this image was much lighter, maybe a misty scene or even a snow scene, the drop shadow effect that's creating the matte may be too powerful. Well, then we can go to the opacity in the layers palette and we can drop it down to lesser that impact. So we do have the opportunity to make that matte effect fit the image we're working on. Now, for purposes here, I'm going to leave it at its maximum 100%. Supposing the image was a darker image, well, we can double up the impact of the layer that's creating the shadow by hitting Ctrl J. And as soon as I do, you can see how the drop shadow matte is now a lot more intense. Now, that could work well with the image you have on screen, but if not, of course, you can just drop it in the bin. The other option to look at is the color of the border that we've created. So if we select that, what I can do, let me turn these others off for a minute, because that's what we've got on that layer. So if I flooded this with a color, it would flood the entire layer, but not if I lock it first. So applying that lock is going to make sure that any color I apply is only applied to the border. So let's do that, and what I'm going to do is to select a color from within the image. I'm going to pick up my eyedropper tool, and I just want to sample something that I think may work. Rarely do we get this right first time, but you'll get the idea in a moment. Let me even try a bit of blue in here and see what happens. You can see over on the left hand side, the blue is the foreground color. Alt Backspace will flood that border with the color. It's not bad, but it's not something I would live with. So either using Control U or going to Image, Adjustment and Hue and Saturation. What I often do here is I just tweak the hue a little bit to see if I can find something a little better. And I may even tweak the saturation too, and even the lightness and darkness at times. We're all going to choose something different. Let's assume that's okay. What I'd also like to do is add a little bit of texture, because when we look at this, we'll notice, let me get this even bigger, we'll notice that we do have pixels viewable in the image when it's very large like this, but the border is very smooth. When printed, it can look a little unnatural. So with that top layer, go to your Filters menu and choose Noise, Add Noise. We're going to want something like 3% of Gaussian monochrome noise. I mean, you can see it's very easy to go too far. 3% just gives that a delicate texture. Maybe 4 you could push to. The choice is yours. Control 0 will fit the image on screen. Finally, if I wanted to put a thin line around the outer edge or the inner edge of the frame, what I would do to achieve that is to first of all hold my Control key and just click the thumbnail. Let me close that. I didn't mean to open that as well. So I've just clicked it once and I've selected the entire border again. But I don't want the entire border, I just want the inside edge. So if we go to the select menu and choose inverse, now we have it selected. But let's not put any pixels along that line on this layer. Let's create another layer for this so it remains controllable. What I'd like to do here is go to my edit menu, stroke, high resolution. I'm going to stay with 7 pixels and I think I'll choose black as the line, and we're going to put it on the inside and click OK. So when I hit Control D to remove that selection, you can see we've got the inside edge of our border nicely picked out. And because that is on another layer, we get the opportunity to view the image, decide if we want a thicker line, a thinner line. There you have it, the matte effect. And of course, once we have those layers in place in Photoshop, we have infinite control over the shadow, the border color, texture, and surrounding lines. I'll see you next time.